All right, ladies and gentlemen, Backstage, Hex Fight Series 28, Festival Hall in Melbourne with Michael Mannu, who won the grudge match against Emrahan Hekimoglu. Mate, first of all, how does it feel to have gotten through that just hectic fight week to then get the victory?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Obviously, just I try to stay very composed. He tries to get under my skin. Tries to intimidate me. And it's funny because what Emrahan said a lot was, cage lock closed, it's just me and him in there, no one to save us. But that was always my focus the whole time. It wasn't all the media stuff. It was that 15 minutes in there with him. So just try to drown out everything else and just perform to the best of my ability. And yeah.
Now, I was going to say, you did one of the classiest things I've seen in a while. After all of the shit talk, so many fighters wish they could have put their hand up, and if they were on the other end, maybe they would have rubbed it in his face or something. And you reached down and picked him up. Why?
Like I said at the press conference, someone asked me if I have any respect for him. I said respect is earned. Look, if he carried on like that, saying things like he's going to kill me in 10 seconds, all this, and if I started getting the better of him and he gave up and just faded, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have had any respect for him. The fact that I was trying to finish him and I was winning all the rounds, but he stayed in there the whole time. Like, I have to give him respect in that regard. Like, he is a warrior. I don't like how he carried himself. Throughout the build-up for the fight, but he does have my respect for being a warrior.
That is actually what I was going to ask, but you answered that there. You do have respect for him. This is a weird one, but if you had any advice for him, what would it be now?
For me, like personally, my amateur career, I finished it with, this sounds like me bragging, but it's going to come back to your question, right? I swear. My amateur career, after my first amateur, I had 3 amateurs, 2 first-round finishes, 1 second-round finish. Pro debut was a first-round finish. So I had a 4-fight win streak, all finishes. But really, I hadn't been in I had a 4-fight win streak on paper, but I hadn't been in a fight, even though I had 4 contests. Because when you fight, I go for a takedown, I get it. I go for a submission, they tap. I hit someone, I hurt them. When that's what's happening in your fights, you're not actually in a fight. It's until you go for something, you don't get it, now that's your first fight. And if you've had 10 fights where you go for something, you get it straight away, you might be 10-0 on paper, but you haven't fought once. And when I saw his record, it reminded me of my amateur career and early pros, and I knew, like, he thought, because that's all he knows, he's going to be able to run through me, because that's what he's done to all his previous
Yeah,
rounds.
I mean, because he had a great first round, and then was there a moment where you saw him gas and start to slow down a little bit?
Yeah, saw him gas a bit, and just mentally just realized he couldn't put me away. And what, I wish I got the finish, but what my favorite part of the fight, you see the first round, right? Our eyes are locking it. We're not looking away from each other. We're both trying to take the center, right? Second round starts, he's sitting on the stool, I'm standing up, I'm taking the center, my eyes are still locked on him, but now he's on the stool. Third round starts, I'm standing up, I'm taking the center, eyes locked on him. Just like we were doing the first round, he's sitting on the stool again, but now he's looking down at the ground, and the ref's telling him, get off the stool, the round's starting, and that's when I knew I had him, and that's what I like, I would have liked the finish, but I like taking the souls, So that was really satisfying for me.
Now, mate, moving on to finally your career again. You obviously went on a bit of an early run a few years ago, had a bit of a skid. You now seem to look to be back on track. What do you do in this situation? Because obviously you're very, very close with Sean Gauchi. He might continue to hold the bantamweight belt. I'm assuming that fight is never going to happen. You're never going to want that fight. So what is next for you?
Look, I just want to stay active. So I'm not going to fight Sean. He's my boy. If he gets signed and then the opportunity arises for me to get the belt, or if he moves down to flyweight, something like that, then sure, I'll fight for the belt. But just, I want to stay active, get me on every Hex card next year versus bantamweight, and just want to build up, you know.
Is there a name out there?